Hello, my name is Mahdiar Edraki. I'm a PhD student in the Action Lab at Northeastern University, and today I'll be talking about the variability of arm kinematics and hitting a target with a bullwhip. Many motor control studies have predominantly explored unconstrained tasks, such as simple point-to-point reaching tasks. While we've learned a lot from these studies, the insights gained from them may not directly apply to interactions with objects or tools, which is a key aspect of human motor control. And so in this study, we explore how humans manipulate a complex tool, namely a flexible bullwhip. And we use principal component analysis to explore the dimensionality of the participant's arm and the whip. To that end, we want to answer three questions. What is the dimensionality of the arm and whip system? And does the dimensionality differ between individuals with different skill levels? And does dimensionality of the whip and arm actually relate to the performance error? We asked 13 participants to manipulate a 1.6 meter long bullwhip to try and hit a target at a 2.2 meter distance. Each participant performed approximately 150 trials of continuously rhythmically manipulating the whip overhead and trying to hit the target. We used motion capture to track 23 markers in each trial, 8 markers on the arm, 10 on the whip, and 5 on the target. And looking at the performance across participants, we see that there is a wide range of performance, with some participants performing really well across all trials, while others had a higher error, hitting error in most of their trials. We look at the principal component of 3 key stages of the trial. One is the preparation, throwing, and hitting. And so we perform PCA in those 3 stages on the 4 markers on the arm and 10 markers on the whip. And we can see that for all participants, only 1 or 2 principal components are sufficient to account for over 95% of the variance in the data. And so the arm and the whip are low dimensional based on how our participants manipulated it. Now, looking at the variance accounted for versus the median error of 50 trials for all participants, we see that there is a significant negative relationship between the variance accounted for and the participant's performance. And we see this in the preparation and hitting stages of the arm and whip system. And of course, we can look at the same analysis, just looking at the whip markers, where we see the same relationship is still true. And looking at just the arm markers, we can see that the variance accounted for all participants is very high, regardless of their error. And so it's the variance accounted for, or the dimensionality of the whip, that contributes to their overall performance, or the relationship that is present here. And so we've shown that across subjects, higher variance accounted for resulted in better performance. Now we wanted to see if this was also true within subject. And so we took the 10 best trials of a participant, calculated the variance accounted for, and compared it to the 10 worst trials. And if we compute the difference, we can see that there's a higher variance accounted for in the 10 best trials compared to the 10 worst trials, again in the preparation and hitting stage for the participants. And so to conclude, I've shown that the arm and the whip system is low dimensional, with 1 or 2 principal components being sufficient to account over 95% of the variance in the data, bearing in mind that the whip is really an infinite dimensional system. And we showed that the variance accounted for by the first principal component of the whip in the preparation and hitting stages correlates with the performance both between subjects and within subjects. And lastly, I showed that the variance of the whip is the main driver of the variance in the overall system. With that, I would like to thank my colleagues at the Action Lab, Reza, Alexei, Marta, and my PI, Professor Sternon, and our collaborators at MIT, Moses and Professor Hogan. And I look forward to your questions and discussions during the presentation. Thank you.